Hello and welcome to the Final Whistle with me, Daniel Waterson, looking back at Friday night's 2-1 win over Livy in the Tony Macaroni Arena. Coming up, James and I talk through the match. We've got post-match action from Paul Heckingbottom and Paul Hanlon, but first let's remind ourselves of the goals with Hibs TV's Cliff Pike and Dave Armstrong.
Hanlon will take the corner, right-footed in, swinging from the far side. It's a clipped header, chance for Hibs in the back of the net! And it's Mark McNulty again by the looks of things, or was it Paul Hanlon? The two of them were in there. Either way, the ball's in the back of the net, and in the 71st minute, Hibs have the lead. McNulty and Hanlon were both in there. I think it might have been Paul Hanlon that actually battered that one into the back of the net.
That was a wonderful ball coming in, causing all sorts of trouble for the Livingston defence, and what power put behind that.
Indeed.
What we think was Paul Hanlon.
Yeah. Flick back into the feet of Canberry. Does well to hold it up under a lot of pressure. Forces it out to Stevenson. Clip forward. Mallon brings it down inside the area. Can he get the shot away? Chance here for Hibs. 2-0, Stevie Mallon. Wonderful finish from the former St Mirren man. Brought that down beautifully just inside the 18-yard box, turned away from his man, drew the goalkeeper Kelly, slots the ball into the back of the net. 74 minutes on the clock. Hibs 2, Livingston 0. 2 goals in 3 minutes, Dave. And Hibs now in the driving seat.
The composure from Stevie Mallon to take that down over his shoulder, to bring it onto his left foot and slot it home with absolute precision. A wonderful goal from Stevie Mallon. It's Livingston 0, Hibs 2.
Still not over as yet. Lawson tumbles. He's been given a penalty kick. Then the big Hibs goalkeeper do the business again. Hardy slots it straight down the middle as Marciano dives to his right hand side.
Right, James, a 2-1 win for Hibs tonight. A big 2-1 win, huge result. Probably up until about the first goal, let's say it wasn't a classic, but a huge 3 points above Hearts in the league, and I don't think anyone would have predicted this a few months ago.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of anything of any kind of significance that happened before we actually scored, and I'm really struggling. You know, it's one of those things where you look at kind of the end of Neil Lennon's tenure, and you look at that game away at Motherwell where we put in a performance not dissimilar to maybe the first sort of hour tonight, and never looked like we were going to score, and quite rightly in that game came in with nothing. Tonight, even though you're kind of looking at it and going, this has not been our best performance of the season, you always felt we might nick something from the game. It was a classic kind of, when the goal comes, it's the kind of goal that always wins these sort of games, or looks like it wins these sort of games, which is, corner goes into the box, the ball kind of bounds around and it ends up in the back of the net. Nice finish from Paul Hanlon, but then we follow that up with a moment of absolute class from Stevie Mallon. It's a really nice finish, and going from the reaction on social media as well, I think it looks even better in the replay as well, so nice to see that again. But I think it shows the kind of improvement that we've had over the past couple of months, the sort of steel and kind of reserve that we've had over the past few months, and the difference from this performance here tonight and our last performance at the Tony Macaroni Arena is it's night and day. It's quite literally night and day, actually, to be honest, when I think about it.
It's the first win over Livy this season, so third attempt. None of the performances have ever been classics, but it's a stubborn team that we're up against. I didn't think they offered a huge amount, but they created half decent chances, and I suppose you only need to look at how Rangers, Celtic, Hearts, ourselves had done to see that this is actually a really impressive 3 points tonight.
How did Hearts do when they came here?
I think, well, there wasn't much in it until maybe about the 60th, 70th minute mark, much like tonight. Yeah, of course. And Livy went and scored 5 goals.
That's right, I remember. Yeah. I'm going to try and get throughout this entire sort of point without using the word pitch, apart from there.
That's my next question. Yeah. So you're screwed.
I think it shows that when every other sort of top 6 club has come here, they've struggled with the atmosphere and they've struggled with the conditions. Now that is is nothing against Livingston at a base level. You know, Livingston are. You know what kind of performance you're going to come up against Livingston. They're a big team, they're a physical team, they're going to make it tight and narrow, and they're going to make it hard for teams to play through them, and they're going to try and play over the top and get runners on the end of the ball. We saw that Ryan Hardy at Easter Road, one long ball over the top, Ryan Hardy ran onto it and scored. There was a few times tonight, I think they were virtually playing Sibbald as like a kind of lone striker, but he was dropping a little bit further back. Robinson was going up there, they were sort of being physical, they were trying to kind of dominate us physically. And that's kind of what you expect when you come here. It's the same sort of treatment that Rangers got when they came here and they got beat 1-0. It's the same treatment that Celtic got when they came here, and I think, did they draw 0-0?
They drew 0-0, yeah.
We've obviously seen what happened to Hearts when they came here, and when Livingston really get going, they can really get going. Tonight I thought we did well enough. There was a few occasions where they sort of breached our defence, but I thought we did well enough to kind of hold them. In the end, you kind of look at this game and go, well, we produced the one sort of real moment of quality in this game, and we, where we needed to be, we scored a very sort of Livingston-esque goal.
We've become very sort of almost, formidable's maybe a stretch, but set pieces every time we look dangerous now.
Well, I think Stevie Mellon's obviously a fantastic set piece taker, and his crosses I think kind of they have a lot to do with sort of who gets on the end of them. Tonight I thought the one for the goal, it comes in at the near post. It's so difficult to defend against him. You've got a guy like David Gray attacking the ball. You're always likely to get something on it. Now, that's not to say that every single corner that Stevie Mellon's put in this season has been spectacular. There's been a few times where it's maybe been slightly overhit, or it's ended up just not quite falling to the right person. That one's great. The ball comes over, Gray gets enough on it to cause a little bit of pandemonium on the line. Livy can't get it away, and Paul Hanlon kind of smashes it into the net, which is one of those goals that kind of it's a very un-Hibs goal almost. Not David Gray getting his head on the end of a corner. That's a very Hibs goal, but that sort of. It was almost like Livingston-esque goal, and again, that's no sort of slight on Livingston. They're hugely effective with that this season, but it was sort of nice to see us kind of get a goal like that in a game like this.
I'm going to mention the pitch now. I'm only going to mention it for two reasons. One, because our discussion about the first half is going to take about 30 seconds, and two, to kind of show that we don't just do this as sour grapes. So we've won today, but you could see right from the start, and it's not just Hibs, it's both teams, basic passes. Now, don't get me wrong, there might have just been low quality in that first hour of the game, but there was certain balls, basic 3-4 yard passes that were just running a mile that shouldn't have been doing that. It shouldn't be in top flight football. No,
I don't think it should, and I will give Livingston a little bit of credit here. I think it's marginally better than when we came here in September. It looks like it's settled a little bit. However, having said that, it's marginally better than it was in September, and it was bad in September. So it's not really kind of gone up a level since then. And you're right. There's balls going, and the ball didn't spend a lot of time on the ground tonight, but when it did, it was carrying. Like you say, 3-4 yard passes were just. They were shooting off into or out of the pitch, and even bizarrely, when the ball went in the air, it seemed to just go like a yard or two further than it did. It's a unique microclimate that they've got over the Tony Macaroni Arena.
For all we're slagging it, the Livy subs doing the warm down just now are absolutely loving it.
Well, yeah, but yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a case to be made for artificial pitches in top flight football. Certainly the one that we played on in Molde I thought was an excellent surface, but in countries like Norway, like Sweden, Denmark and other places that aren't in Scandinavia that I can't think off the top of my head at the moment. Switzerland, I know there's a lot of artificial pitches in Switzerland, Russia.
I think they only have like 2 stadiums.
They've had artificial pitches for years, which means they've been able to develop them and find what works. They're still a relatively new creature in Scottish football. Unfortunately, kind of the early experiments with them have been poor. Was it Dunfermline had one a couple of years ago that was just absolutely horrendous, and they ended up having to rip it up.
Ask the streaker more than anyone from that first game.
Poor man.
There was a moment in the first half where Paul Hanlon was. I just noticed what somebody pointed out to me. He had like the classic 5s cut on his knee, and you're going as much as you look and go, yeah, reminiscent of five-a-sides. Probably shouldn't be a thing in top flight Scottish football that a player has carpet burn, essentially.
I mean, that's the thing, to Kilmarnock's credit, their pitch took a lot of flack. I think they're almost in the stage now where, it's kind of, I don't know if did they relay theirs and they got sort of a hybrid one or something like that?
Well, are they not fitting a grass one over the summer now?
Which I think kind of, given that there's been plenty of complaints about that Kilmarnock pitch, and I think Steve Clarke has come out and said that it does probably give the side an advantage, that,
I think it would say a lot that a club does rip it up and put grass in. That would suggest that deep down they're maybe not happy themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, like I say, there are clearly good artificial pitches in the world. As I've said, the one we played in Mulder was a great surface, but they've obviously not made their way here yet, and it is going to take a little bit of time to get used to that. And until I think we can be sort of satisfied in saying that we have a good artificial surface, I don't really think we can allow them. I think that Livingston at the start of the season, they took so long to actually lay it, from, if I remember correctly, that it wasn't actually ready for the first game of the season. You could tell. So whether it is just finding the technology that works or allowing pitches to bed in properly before they're played on, I don't know, but certainly tonight, again, it was not a great surface to play on, and I think it possibly did contribute to the quality of football in large parts of that game.
So to get into the game, there's one change from Hibs. Dan McGregor returns from suspension. Vikinta Slivka drops to the bench. Usual setup from Hibs. We see Canberra go out to that wide left position that he's taken up. Opening 80 seconds is good. It's exciting.
That was excellent.
Malin has a little dinked effort that Liam Kelly does very well to tip over the bar. Liam Kelly has had a huge, big season. He was in the Scotland squad recently, although I don't know if anyone want to boast about that, to be honest. But good save, and you kind of thought that would be the start of things to come, but it wasn't.
No, it really wasn't. And it was about the only time in the game that Mark McNulty playing as a target man actually kind of worked, because there was a few times in the first half where the ball would go up to Mark McNulty, he'd head it down, there'd be nobody within 30 yards of him, and you'd go like, what's going on? But yeah, you're right, for whatever reason in the first 2 minutes it goes up, he nods it down, Stevie Mellon is steaming in behind him. It's a really good save from Liam Kelly, who's had a brilliant season. I think he's had one or two where you've sort of thought, that wasn't great, but I think the fact that he was in the Scotland squad, I know it says volumes, but or speaks volumes about the kind of player he is, and he's still very young. I think he's only 22 or 23 years old, so he's obviously got a big future ahead of him. That was a very good save there as well, and I think at that stage the crowd are still sort of coming into the ground at that point, and the Hibs fans certainly are kind of maybe expecting us to sort of have a bit of a siege on the Livingston goal, but I think that was just about the only thing that happened until the end of the first half.
Let me very quickly run through what I've got for the rest of the first half. So Lithgow puts it well over from a Livy corner. Erskine frees up Sibbald. This is actually a half chance for Livy, maybe more than that. Sibbald has a lot of space but curls it over the bar. Probably should get it on target. I've then put Hibs are playing, they're trying to play football, but at the same time there's a mixture of long balls as well, whether that's a reflection on the pitch, I'm not sure. I had O'Doffin down as the weak link for Livy at right back. I thought he looked quite poor, to be honest, but then again he got stadium announced as man of the match.
Well,
so
yeah.
That's it. Half an hour into the game, I checked my phone to see the latest on Brexit. That is what I'll say about the first half.
There's never been a more damning indictment of a football match than that.
They had another 7 meaningful votes in that half an hour, by the way. They all got ejected.
I mean, I would have voted to end the first half, after the first 2 minutes. It wasn't great, to be honest, and I mean, you could have forgiven the BT Sport viewers to be turning off in their droves, and I don't think anybody is that committed to actually go and see what's happening with Brexit over this. But I hear Dunfermline against Derry United was good for most part of that.
Good result for Ayr, very unexpected.
Good result for Ayr. Probably, I've not actually seen the score yet. What was the score?
They won 1-0.
Did they? That's a good result for Ayr, actually. This is basically the quality of the first half. This is kind of what it resorted to, but. Are we done with that now?
Yeah, that's first half done. Yeah. Now we can hear from head coach Paul Heckingbottom speaking after the match.
Paul, a notoriously difficult place to leave with 3 points, and you'll be delighted your team's done so.
Yeah, delighted. True in both senses. Yeah, you can see why it's such a tough place to come, and over the moon with the 3 points. Livingston really sort of dictated how the game went first half, because we were unable to play at a higher tempo. I could see exactly what they're trying to do. Sat off, control where our first pass went, and then stopped us playing another pass after that, and we're trying to jump all over any pass we made. So it was tough, it was difficult, so we just had to up the tempo in the game. So we played more forward passes, we tried to win more headers, more tackles, more duels, and as the game got more frantic, I think it suited us, just because the tempo of the game got quicker.
Second half was your old game of two halves, really. You know, neither team dominated the first half, but I thought the second half we were well in control of it.
Well, I think you're flattering us a bit, if I'm honest. I thought we were certainly more dangerous, we certainly played better, we certainly took us chances, and I think it was the will to win from the players. So yeah, it was going to be that type of game to win it, because if we'd have carried on the way we did the first half, we might have looked good with the ball, we might have had more possession than them, but it was going towards a 0-0.
You made a couple of changes which maybe helped make a difference. A couple of goals in the space of 3 minutes, that did put us in control of the game at that stage.
Yeah, so we took our chances, Livingston didn't. I thought we did have, when it went 2-0 up, I thought it was pretty a fair result at that point, because we had the chances, we had taken them, we were on the front foot, we were creating more opportunities than them, but when it did go 2-0 up, they had a couple of opportunities as well themselves, which they failed to take. So yeah, pleased, delighted, and it was hard work.
When you're 2-0 up, a quarter of an hour to go, it becomes about game management. We managed the game out pretty well. Stoppage time, however, a penalty kick awarded against us. We didn't get a very good view of it. What was your take on it?
Well, I was far away from anyone. There didn't seem to be too many complaints. I've not seen it, but the fact I'm just looking at everyone's reaction, and didn't seem too many complaints, so probably the right decision.
And it's one of those ones that it makes the last couple of minutes a little bit more frantic than they maybe needed to be.
It does, but I think it seemed to me that it really focused our players' minds then, because I thought we went 2-0 up and a little bit sloppy. That's when Livingston had two good chances, a header from a corner and the knockdown which he put wide, and I thought they were really good chances for them. But when it went to 2-1, all of a sudden we looked focused, we looked determined, we got to more first balls, second balls, and we saw the game out in terms of playing in the half really well.
From our point of view, for a short term anyway, it puts us above our city rivals into 5th spot in the table. From your point of view, though, you must be delighted with the way that the lads are buying into what you want them to do and the effort that you're getting from them.
Oh, and I can't speak highly enough of them, I probably don't say it to them enough. We're always looking at where we can get better, what we need to do better, but in public I've got no problem telling them how well they're doing. It's such an honest group, and they're getting exactly what they deserve. It's not through fluke that they're doing it. They're working hard, they're willing to run for each other, they're willing to fight for each other, and they're showing moments of quality like today.
And winning games breeds confidence, and there's no reason now why, having gone above Hearts, we shouldn't be looking at the teams that are further above us in the table and aiming higher up the table.
Yeah, we'll see what results bring tomorrow. We may be back in 6th, but as folks, we'll always be on the team in front of us. We'll just chase down whoever we can. When results are going well for as they are, it makes them look as well over the shoulder. So we have to keep trying to work on this momentum, and we know the games are just going to get harder. If we do manage to stay in this top 6, we're going to be playing all the best teams in the league, so the games are going to get harder.
But nice just to sit back over the weekend and watch what the other teams do, having done the business yourself.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Friday night, if you get the job done in the 3 points, then it is an easier weekend.
The second half starts, to be honest, the second half isn't much better initially. The first note I've got for the second half is after the hour mark. Hibs have a counter-attack. Omiyonga has a chance to play in Canberry. Whether he overhits the ball or whether it's again a reflection of that pitch, because it looked like a kind of basic pass, it just gets away from Canberry. Gray has an opportunity to put in a cross. He's got loads of room, but it's kind of poor, and then it picks up from there. Malin has an effort from distance that goes just wide. The crowd started to liven up. The double subs made. Fraser Murray, great to see him get a good run out, and Slivka come on for Horgan and Omiyonga, and then immediately you see Murray and Slivka link up. It leads to a corner comes in, Gray heads it. I don't know if it's cleared off the line or just cleared out by a defender, but good reactions from Hanlon to just volley it in from about 12 yards, 1-0.
Yeah, and as Roddy says, a great ball in from Stevie Malin, and a good run from David Gray to get his head to the ball as well. He almost makes that run where he goes from sort of the middle of the box to the front post. Difficult to defend against, particularly if the box is as packed as it was. I don't know who blocks it on the line. I don't know if it's a good save from Kelly or if there's a Livingston defender back there, but Paul Hanlon reacts reacts very quickly, and he absolutely smashes it home. And like I said, it's a very sort of it's almost like a Livingston-esque goal. It's a kind of goal that we'd expect Livingston to score, but it's kind of nice to see us score that type of goal in a game like this. When you kind of feel when the game sort of lacks quality, we kind of suffer for it. I thought it was sort of telling tonight. I don't think Aubameyang had his best game tonight, and I think he's been excellent since he's come in. But it wasn't a game for flair players tonight. It was a game for a lot of huffing and puffing. It was always going to be a game where it wasn't the silky players who were going to decide it. It was going to be decided by somebody getting a lucky break or a lucky bounce. Unfortunately, the lucky bounce falls for us with Paul Hanlon, but still, it's a defender 8 yards from goal, and you always kind of get the fear when that happens. But fair play to Paul Hanlon, gets it on target. That's all you can really ask for there, and we're 1-0 up.
Yep, and then it was kind of all action after that. Both ends of the pitch, it burst into a football game from absolutely nowhere. I don't know what's happened in Brexit in the last half an hour of that match. So right away, Livy reacts. Robinson has an effort just outside the box, goes just wide of the post, and then the second goal comes 3 or 4 minutes after the first. I don't know who plays the ball over the top, but the first touch is good. The skill to take it beyond the man is better, and the finish from that angle is very, very tidy.
It's lovely.
It's a brilliant goal.
Yeah, it's my least favourite phrase in football among many. It's, if Messi did that, you'd be talking about it for weeks. But and I'm certainly not comparing Stevie Malin to Lionel Messi there, but it's a fantastic touch to bring the ball out of the air like that. He skips past the Livingston defender that he's not there, and a guy like Stevie Malin, who's kind of famous for his long range efforts, never expect him to blast it, but he shows real composure and real quality just to slide it underneath Liam Kelly. It's a lovely finish, and one of those that kind of is very pleasing to sort of watch back. And we talked about moments of quality in the game. That was the first real one, and created it, taking the chance as well. And Stevie Malin's second goal from inside the box for Hibs.
Are we putting this in Mirren one? That was kind of on the verge. So that was his first goal from inside the box, as far as I'm concerned, and arguably one of his best.
Yeah, a fabulous finish as well, and it's good for him to get him on the goals again today, because I think he's your top scorer this season. I think he must be. He must be sort of one of the only ones in double figures. But really nice finish, and again, guys like Stevie Malin, I kind of expect their performance maybe to suffer a little bit today, given the quality of the game. But it shows it only takes him a couple of seconds to get involved and to have a real influence on the game as a whole.
Yeah, and despite Livy scoring, I thought Hibs seen it out relatively comfortably from there. Marciano has a very good fingertip save to put a header from Sibbald over the bar from the corner. Lithgow puts it well over, and then Hardy nearly puts one in the top corner. I thought it was in the moment he left his boot from the angle we were sitting at. It got just an inch on McGregor. And then the penalty itself, I thought it was a penalty, but I think I might be the only one. I've not seen it back. Is it Stevenson that gets penalised?
Yeah, it's Stevenson on Steve Lawson. I thought it was harsh. I mean, admittedly, I've only seen it once, but I thought it was harsh. It's one of those where I'm not going to say Lawson dived. I don't think he dived, but he was very theatrical in the way that he went down. On first viewing, I thought it was harsh.
Hardy takes it well. He's a good player. He's had a good season for Livy, but Hibs just pick up. I don't think Livy had a chance beyond that, despite there being another 3 or 4 minutes of the game. And seen it out well. We look at the league table now. We are a point clear of Hearts. We go up to 5th. I don't even think we need to look at the teams below us now. Is that kind of arrogant? I'm not sure, but we're up in 5th, so why should we be worrying about holding on to 6th?
Yeah, and as you've said there, St Johnstone play Motherwell tomorrow, so something has to give there. Aberdeen play Hearts tomorrow, something has to give there. You never want to say for definite with Hibs, but it's one of those where you kind of look at it and it's in our hands.
Yeah,
I mean that's terrifying, obviously, but it is in our hands. We're maybe slightly unfortunate that our last 2 games before the split are against 2 other sides in the top 6.
If they draw, we're 6 clear of St Johnstone with 20 goals. So if they draw, that's it.
Yeah, I mean I can't, with the best will in the world, I can't see St Johnstone beating anybody 21-0. I can't
don't
necessarily
see Hamilton Accies a few weeks ago. Although in saying that seemed to have been a one-off for them recently.
I can't guarantee that we're not going to lose a game 21-0, which could happen, but it's in our hands. That's basically all I'm going to keep saying until it's definite. It's in our hands.
And again, looking up, Kelly host Hamilton Accies tomorrow. I've obviously just made a very harsh comment about Hamilton Accies. So if Hamilton get a result there, Kelly come to us on Wednesday. We then obviously go to Tynecastle next Saturday. So they two results almost shape the rest of our season. I feel like I say that every week, and it's such a cliched thing to say, but if you win those two games or even get 4 points from those next two games, it's all of a sudden a very, very exciting end to the season.
Yeah, it is. And even given the season that we've had, you never want to be playing for nothing at the end of the campaign. You want to have something to play for, you want to have something to kind of look forward to, and you want to be in the mix for those European places. I mean, we were there last season. It was a brilliant end to the campaign. Obviously things are slightly different this time around, but it's fine sort of beating Livingston and beating Hamilton and beating Dundee as well, but if you want to be looking sort of further up the table, you have to be beating the sides who are around you, and Kilmarnock and Hearts are around us just now. Again, I think we're slightly unfortunate maybe that our last two games for the split are against two teams that in theory would play after the split, which is not great, because it kind of gives them a chance to sort of claw back whatever kind of advantage that you might have built up there. But at the same time, as I've said, you want to go and prove your credentials, you want to go and prove you're good enough to be challenging these sort of teams. You have to go and beat them. We haven't won at Tynecastle since 2013, I don't think. We did. What was the score of Kelly at home? Was that 2-2 at home?
Was it 2 each? No, we won 3-2.
Win 3-2.
The dodgy penalty.
Oh, that's right. We got a dodgy penalty in the last minute. Yeah. So if it's going to get us involved in the conversation for Europe at the end of the season, we want us to go and win. I'm most optimistic. I think we could finish fourth, which that's my most optimistic. You're then relying on Celtic going and winning the Scottish Cup, which isn't insurmountable, but it's one of those where you want to be as assured of your place as possible. You want to be involved in that conversation for European places, and to do that you have to go and prove your credentials.
Now here's post-match thoughts. Paul Hanlon speaking with Cliff.
Paul, in the quest for the top 6 spot, that was a massive win tonight.
Yeah, massive. Exactly. We had to dig deep at times. It was probably not the easiest on the eye at times, but at the end of the day we've got the 3 points. We go away happy and send the fans home happy as well. Livingston are never going to make it easy for you. They haven't made it easy for anyone through here. A difficult place to get 3 points. It looked at one stage that one goal might be enough to win it. You got the opening goal, but then we got a second one a few minutes later, and that put us in control of the game. Yeah, it's never easy coming here. There's limited chances. We kind of struggle to get the ball down and play at times. They stopped us playing, and all credit to them for that. But no, as I said, we dug deep. We got the first goal, and then as you said, followed up by a second quite quickly. So and then probably made it a bit difficult for ourselves at the end by conceding the penalty. But great 3 points in the end. We didn't really get a great view of the penalty, but the manager said that there weren't an awful lot of complaints. Was it a penalty? That was one of them. I knew that the ref was giving it. I've not seen it again, but that wasn't it. Lewis kind of says he pulls out, but there's contact on the player. So, as you said, not too many complaints, but just thought we held on and got the 3 points. As you say, it did make it a wee bit more fraught in that last 2 or 3 minutes than it might have been. But it's all about game management in that sort of situation, and we saw the game out well. Yeah, no one panicked. Just kind of regroup and go again. Managed to get a few throw-ins down in their corner and kept the ball there, and it just kind of settled the nerves a bit, and obviously seen the game out. Since the new manager's come in, we've got back to the way of being able to find the ways of winning games that are like that, when the opposition don't really let you play. Sometimes you just have to find a way to win the game, and we've done that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at the last game against Motherwell, we played a lot of nice football. We managed to build out for the back and play through the lines and get runners forward and things like that, but this game was completely different. We never managed to do that, and all credit to Livingston, as I said, for stopping us doing that. But as you said, we found another way of winning, and that's the mark of a good team when you can win ugly at times.
football's all about taking the 3 points. We've done that tonight. It puts us above our City rivals in the league table as well. Maybe it might just be for a short time, but we really should now be looking at the teams above us in the table. You know, we've got Kilmarnock coming up on Wednesday night, who are above us at the moment, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be thinking about reeling them in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, between now and the end of the season, it's going to be all teams in and around us that we're playing, so it's a lot to play for. Every game seems to have got bigger and bigger the last few weeks, and I think it's going to be an exciting end to the season and just see where we can finish.
16 points out of 18 from the last 6 games. It's a great time of the season to be hitting a run of form.
Yeah, exactly. That's good form, and if we can keep that going between now and the end of the season, we'll be in a great position come the end. So, the manager keeps us all working hard, and he's no best pleased with the performance tonight, which again is a good sign. We've not performed well, but we've won the game. So there's plenty to look over on this one and improve from, and I'm sure we'll do that for the Kilmarnock game.
I'll close by asking a question about the manager. You've played under a few here at Easter Road. What would you say Paul Heckingbottom's best attributes are? What's he added to the party?
I think he's just came in and no stone unturned, kind of just into everything. He's always big on analysis. We're constantly watching. We're not just watching games, we're watching bits of our training, we're watching bits of the reserve games that are doing when they're doing well. It's just showing what he wants us to do, and as I say, as a team we're all trying our best to implement it on a match day, and that's so far so good. We've been getting 3 points, but even the ways he's trying to implement, we're not always doing that. Like tonight, we never managed to do it, but we got the 3 points, so that's all that matters.
And now we can sit back and watch what happens over the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, it's great when you play on a Friday night. It's always nice to get the 3 points so you can relax and watch the rest of the scores coming on.
So that'll do us for this week's episode. The extended highlights and the full match replay are all available for Hibs TV subscribers if you want to get yourself signed up. You know what else I'm going to say to you, all the other extended matches, this season's games, etc, etc. Next up's Kelly on Wednesday at Easter Road. Tickets will be available on the website for that one, and the match will be broadcast live for all Hibs TV international subscribers. Until then, my thanks to James as always for joining me. Massive thanks to you for listening, and join us next time on The Final Whistle.